How's it going, everyone? Bitcoin and the crypto market at large is still down, but I am getting increasingly excited about this. I'm going to tell you exactly why right now. So let's bring up a chart and we can see that very little has changed since yesterday. Okay, I'm looking here at my leverage trade, my leverage long that I got into during that big down day a couple of weeks back. And yeah, still sitting in that position. As I said at the time, I closed out quite a big chunk of that, quite a good sizable chunk of that after the first initial pump on the 6th of February, on the 5th of February, depending on your time zone. But we left the remainder in. That is a 20x leverage position, very high risk trades. That's why I got most of the risk off the table. Initially, we took about $3,000 out of that trade very quickly, and about exactly 0.1 BTC remains, now up about $435 in profit. I think when I shared this yesterday, it was about 300. And the tactic, the strategy with this trade remains the same. I'm going to stay in that for the foreseeable unless we break these lows here down at 65k, unless something else different happens. Okay, that is the idea of this trade, is just to keep that little bit of risk on just in case we keep pumping from here. Not looking terribly likely. We remain in this sort of downward channel since the 15th. To draw on the chart here and illustrate exactly what I mean, I'm just going to put these two lines in here. But you can see, of course, it's basically a series of lower highs and lower lows. That is what characterizes a downtrend. Technically, you could look at that as a flag potentially, but in any case, the price is going down and to the right for the time being. And I don't see any particular reason for this to turn around immediately, to be honest with you. Sentiment is in the gutter. The market is sad and despondent, down in a 12 on the Fear and Greed Index. But my point remains that this is actually quite exciting for someone like myself who's been in the market for a couple of different cycles and knows that extreme fear in the market, extreme annoyance and irritation, and eventually just extreme boredom, which is what comes after that, lingers. That is what we start seeing before big price turnarounds. Take a look at this chart here, okay? This is the Bitcoin rainbow price chart, right? It sounds incredibly ridiculous, okay? But the point is, what we are charting here essentially is sentiment of the market versus price. And we've got the halvings marked on here as well. And you can see that when we're up in the red, we're at maximum bubble territory, right? This is when everyone is most excited about it. The market is in peak euphoria, okay? Euphoria on your Fear and Greed Index is the opposite of extreme fear. Usually, as the adage goes, price comes before a fall. Pride comes before a fall. Pride comes before a fall. There we go. When we're up in maximum bubble territory, prices don't tend to stick around there for a very long time, and that immediately precedes down movement. Okay, sell seriously, sell, FOMO intensifies. Is this a bubble, hodl? Still cheap, accumulate, buy, basically a fire sale. Looks like we were in there last week, maybe the weeks before, depending on exactly how you want to look at this. Bitcoin is dead, and that is where we are right now. Look, tracking sentiment with metrics, okay, numerical metrics, a rainbow chart is obviously not an exact science. But my point is, when the market is depressed and when the market is sad, when Bitcoin is at prices, when the majority of the market is starting to think that Bitcoin might just be dead, if you're accumulating at these prices, usually you're going to make money over time. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only crazy person doing this. And I do feel like, by the way, I've been repeating myself day in, day out, making these statements now. But what that does mean, perceptively, is that we're getting closer to the point of peak boredom in the market, which is good because it comes after peak fear and panic. Right? Eventually we get to peak boredom. Bitcoin's dead. Why are you interested? Why is this guy still talking about buying when the prices are low? Eventually, okay, it's not supposed to feel good and exciting. If it felt good and exciting like it did when you were buying at all-time highs, everyone would be doing it. Everyone would be fantastically rich. Or actually, that wouldn't happen. There would just be absolutely zero upside to investing in the market. Counterintuitive, but it works. And you'll realize how this works the longer you expose yourself to these markets, the longer you spend time in these markets, trying to invest in these markets. Take a look at this. BlackRock begins acquiring ETH for upcoming Ethereum staking ETF. I spoke to you yesterday about Tom Lee acquiring even more ETH, even though they are in, I think it's some incredible unrealized loss, but still acquiring ETH, even at these lower prices. Okay, Tom Lee, love it or hate it, love him or hate him, whatever you like, fine. BlackRock, largest asset manager in the world, begins acquiring ETH for upcoming Ethereum staking ETF. Once again, the market now at 70k is not the same as the market was last time we were at 70k. A BlackRock affiliate purchased 4,000 seed shares of the fund for $100,000, providing the initial capital the trust will use to purchase Ether. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, has taken a significant step towards launching a yield-generating Ethereum fund in the US, according to an amended S1 registration statement on Tuesday. The iShares Staked Ethereum Trust ETF, expected to trade under the ticker ETHB, plans to stake as much of the trust's Ether as practicable, equating to 70 to 95% under normal market circumstances. Abu Dhabi Wealth Funds, its Bitcoin ETF holdings topped $1 billion at the end of 2025. Mubadala Investment Company and Al Wada Investments lifted investments in BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin ETF in the fourth quarter. Two major Abu Dhabi investment firms, Mubadala Investment Company and Al Wada Investments, increased their holdings of BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust in the fourth quarter of 2025 as Bitcoin's price fell. Often we look at ETF flows. Important to remember the bigger picture here. We see the daily flows, the daily ebbs and flows of money coming in and out of there. Sometimes, much of the time in fact, they behave a bit like retail, right? Buying on green days, selling on red days. You gotta remember, it's not the ETF themselves buying and selling, it is the ETF's clients buying and selling into the ETF. And as we know, some of those clients are sovereign wealth funds. Sovereign wealth fund raised its stakes in the iShares Bitcoin Trust ETF by 46% to 12.7 million shares as of December the 31st, according to a regulatory filing. Sometimes you hear about these things a little bit later than they actually happen because of the regulatory filings, etc. Point is, big players, big investors, right? We know, again, about the accumulator addresses. These are addresses that buy Bitcoin and historically don't sell. Sovereign wealth funds. We know about big investment companies like those run by Tom Lee buy Bitcoin in this period of the market. I don't necessarily like the Bitcoin rainbow price chart, okay? We're not going with something particularly quantitative here. But the point is, generally, if you're buying when the market is depressed, upset, bored, when the market is thinking Bitcoin is dead, then you're at an advantage to the vast majority of traders who are buying when the exact opposite of that is true. And knowledge of this and trust in this keeps me sane when everyone else says you're crazy for buying Bitcoin when it's clearly dead. But there we go. As always, not financial advice, purely my opinion shared with you just for entertainment purposes. Hope you found some of that interesting. Hope you found some of that helpful. Thank you so much for watching. There is plenty more to come. Catch you in the next one.